Hello everyone, today I'm going to present the paper The House of the Impossible Gables, Player Engagement and Spatial Perception of Physical and Impossible Spaces in Social VR. I'm Jingfei from Harvard University, and here my co-author are Zhang, Jingyi, Yanli, and Ray Elsie. So a little bit of context. Most VR words allows designers to break the real world laws due to its technical possibilities. But the VR world building are still copying the real world. Potentially speaking, there's many new forms of like play identity and placemaking can be explored. For example, impossible room, walls that can explode outward and doors can fold space can unlock novel form of play and social presence. But there's also little empirical evidence on how such spaces shape behavior within the VR spaces. The context framed the research scope and the questions about the design space and the interaction of spaces of impossible space within the virtual environment. And now we're going to focus on the first research questions. What kinds of spaces can we design in virtual worlds that use rules distinct from those of physical reality that's discussed in the paper? So we first explore how to design different types of impossible spaces. We prototype six archetypes from previous literatures and within the three categories of space-time, antiphysics, and material. Within the category of space-time, there's one teleportation room, which is based on the baseline room added with teleportation doors, and within the antiphysics room, there's like two rooms, which is that exploding structure explosion room. That's based on the baseline room that tested with exploded effect and applied the explosion effects within the social VR spaces. And the third room will be the levitation room, which is compared to the unorganized chaotic organization within the explosion room. It is more organized and regularly layouts, which is designed based on the baseline room with segmented floor and manipulate the z-axis of the segmented rule to create the levitated box. And more rooms such as with more rooms and within the material category, the designs including the furry room, which is apply texture of furs on all the materials within the room, and a dark room, which is remove all the light sources that we that the players cannot rely on their own visual cues to explore the room, and the third room will be the transparent room, and which is like all the opacity of the object is very low within the room. And there's a baseline room to compare with the other rooms to set up the baseline of how people interact and behave within the room. So this is our the so this is our some preview of each room, which is like the teleportation room with the teleportation door, explosion room with like the exploded effects, levitation room with the floating blocks, furry room with like the furry materials, dark room that like is like very dark, and the transparent room that's like all the objects and floors are transparent. Uh, Now move on to the second research question. What types of unique interactions in social VR are fostered by these spaces and which operate beyond the physical reality? In order to study that, we set up a study design, which is like pipeline as here. We first recruit interviewees to come and give them the instructions to how to explore the room. This is like a remote VRChat study, and each of the player need to have like an object finding task. They need to complete the tasks within each room in random order, which are experienced in random order, and they're self-reported the first-person video in order for the future analysis. And also, after they complete all 7 rooms, they need to we are conducted a post-task interviews and mapping of the trajectories, and do the other analysis based on what we recorded uh from their videos. And the study designs have like 12 have like a 12 tester. All of them are Chinese speakers, have at least 1 month and 1 month's experience in VRChat. They conducted object finding tasks and after and the post up and interview. Within the object finding task, after they explore each room, they also need to map the location and the size of the objects, uh, to track how they perceive the spatial information within the room. And after they complete all the room of their object finding tasks, they also need to do interview that they like about questions about take along of like the fairer space, how did they explore each room, and what impossible features did they enjoy more or interact more based on their experience. So the results are threefold. The first is that we discover 3 navigation patterns, which are text-oriented, exploration-oriented, and examination pattern. Uh, we 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 coded every pass and post based on their self-recorded video, and the text-oriented navigation pattern is in which is like some players quickly located the target and exit the room, while in the exploration-oriented patterns, they continue exploration even after they complete the task. And in the examination pattern, they carefully inspect all the environments, such as what people behave in teleportation room. We also, based on their moving patterns and their coded moving pattern, we have like a heat map of how all the users behave in the room and figure out the heat map of the movements within each room. The hotter reds represent where the most movement cluster, and the most green one is where the less movement cluster. As noticed, the explosion room and teleportation room had the widest coverage and the longest time, and transparent room will have like a very fast exploration based on as due to the unintended reflection of the material, which is like very easy for them to find, and the dark room forces like very slow and methodological sweeping of the entire room. And we also explore the interaction. We also explore the interaction of the room and coded based on and do the diagrams to show how the typical interactions within the room. The exploration rooms chaos encourage players to explore like fragmented objects and play with them by jumping or like play hide and seek with from their angle. And in the teleportation room, participants systematically examine like all the potential exits. In the furry room, players are less universally drawn to the material impossibility, though they have fun with interacting with fur because fur has like a different textural attitude that they can view them as like a kind of like grass that they can sit on. And in the darkroom, it prompts the users to cautiously navigate and have like a very careful searching. And for the mapping, for the influence discovery result from of the influence of the spatial qualities on players' perception, uh, this is by comparison of the graph of how like the deviation from what the users map of the object location and sizes from what the actual location and sizes of the object within each room. So on the left side is the box plot for the distance range from each room, and the right side is the box plot from the size difference of each room. There's like largest location arrow is which is happening in the teleportation room. Which this is because when they enter the wrong location or find the wrong axis, they have to reorient it. That's why the relocation caused the largest location mapping arrow among the users, and the largest size arrow happened in the baseline and levitation room is because the room itself has like less visual cues for them to compare with, and therefore there's like a very few so they cannot do a size comparison because within the VR world, it's hard to compare with like is they gain the size information by comparing visual cues of like the surrounding objects. And in the dark and levitation room, there's like a cautious pattern. Therefore, there's like the estimation of the location and also like the size is more accurate. And when the physics breeze, as in the teleportation room and the exposure room, there's like more mental tape measure. Like people in the teleportation room scramble to egocentric map, and the darkness room like paradoxically slow people down. And this is like patterns found based on the this one. And design implication for this study, like designer can use like teleportation room or furry room to invite players have like more exploration and experimentations, and they can also propose build like social behavior, like a furry lounge can have like a cautious lingering, and a teleportation room have like a maze of like puzzle of like collaboration. And there's also have like a balance of a visual complexity for with the landmarks and for orientation within the room, and provide consistent size cues to reduce misperception of the room, and also integrate some impressible features based on what interactions that they want and what narrative goals that they wanted. And as always, the impossible also face like real world limitation. We plan to expand and both the sample size and technological stack based on because due to the problem of we only examine with a small Chinese-centric sample and experience VR users only, and due to the VRChat technical constraint, because there's interactions such as static exploration that we can explore with like dynamic explosion in the future, and they also need to further quantitative presence and sickness matrix to evolve. Um, for the future work, therefore, for future work, we can explore broader demographic and other platform to remove the limitation on demographic and the technical issue. Thank you so much for listening to the presentation. And this is like the recorded video of like the shots of within the impossible room. This paper is collaborated with City University of Hong Kong Studio for Narrative Space, and I'm Jingfei Huang from Harvard University. Thank you.